Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bottom of YouTube's Most Wanted. We're joined here today by a very special guest. They've gone by many names, including Carpetbagger, Camo Dave, that homeless guy down the block, even Dewmonic Abyss. It all really depends on how the trolls are feeling. Can we get a round of applause for the legendary, the one and the only Princess Bubbles? Yay!
Well, I've definitely been called Demonic Abyss once or twice.
Yeah. How you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty decent.
Yeah. So the past few weeks have definitely been very eventful, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, it's there's always some kind of drama going on YouTube.
Yeah, a $500 worth of drama.
Oh, that's what it's up to.
So let's start off with one of the most earlier controversies. And that involves a YouTuber known as Boregaurd Rippy, and a smaller YouTuber known as Boregaurd Rippy. He's more or less known as an online stalker, or a troll. A year ago, he started off harassing the Carpetbagger and his daughter, and now, more recently, he's displaying rather disturbing romantic feelings, to put it lightly, for a YouTuber known as Sightseeing Sally, which ultimately ended up with her quitting YouTube, fearing for her life. From emails, you told me you had a pretty strong opinion about Rippy. Would you like to share that?
I had seen Rippy about it for a year now, ever since I started the Princess Bubbles account.
Mm-hmm.
I generally knew him as just basically your average troll, but he would make these comments and it would just be these weird things.
Were they, like, overly sexual, or just bizarre, or...?
Basically bizarre. I knew, he did mention, the Carpetbagger's daughter in kind of an odd way.
Oh, like, in a pedophilic way, or just, like, in an asshole way, or...?
Well, basically, an odd way for a grown man.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't terribly concerned about it. It was just, an odd thing to say, and I thought, basically, until Rippy started making videos, I thought he was just putting on an act.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I mean, he might actually be putting on an act, but if he is, he's very, I don't know, it's only partly an act because he feels no remorse over what he's done.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of surprised me to learn that he may be the original person that kind of doxed the Carpetbagger. As far as I know, the claim, though, is that he only told people Jacob's last name.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, that eventually, I guess, led to additional information, but I'm assuming this happened before I started the Princess Bubbles account and following a lot of these trolls.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about him potentially being the one to originally dox Carpetbagger, but there's not a lot of information on it, and I certainly wasn't there when that happened, so my mind's a little foggy on that.
Mm-hmm. At first, I thought he was just kind of messing with her, especially after Sightseeing Sally did her quitting video.
Mm-hmm.
And, keeping it honest here, I've never watched it. I've kind of got the gist of what's been going on between him and Sally. Now I remember he did some when he first started doing videos, he had mentioned Sally, but basically just as a fan of her videos, and he was talking about doing something I thought kind of weird. He had actually gone back and deleted his comments from her videos.
Mm-hmm.
And has changed all his thumbs up to a thumbs down on her videos. Apparently he had some kind of disagreement with her.
Yeah, and then the way he talks, it's like they know each other, but they actually don't, and it seems like he has romantic feelings. I don't know where that came from. It just came out of nowhere. I don't know if he genuinely has, like, sexual predator feelings for her, or if he's just doing this all for attention, or both.
I mean, that's what I kind of thought at first, but I mean, this is just something that's like keeps going on. He keeps talking about her. And, like you say, it's kind of hard to tell because he kind of speaks, I guess you would say, in a monotone.
Yeah.
So, it can be hard to read. You would think by now he would have let the whole thing go. So I think there's a good chance that it is a serious issue at this point.
Yeah, and it seems like no matter how many people speak against him, he'll still continue to do it, no matter how much backlash he receives. Yeah, I feel like the only way to really stop his channel is for YouTube to intervene, because it seems like no matter what people do, he's always going to continue doing this for attention, and he's always going to try and strike fear into other people. He's always going to find people to victimize, and he's a mentally ill person and very unstable.
Yeah, unfortunately, with him and a lot of these stalkers and more extreme trolls that act out like he does, is that it's going to take, law enforcement intervention, and that's what someone really needs to do. Now, certainly I would say to Sightseeing Sally that if she needs Boregaurd's address, home address, so he can be served a restraining order or warrant, I'd be happy to provide that. But I'm sure, her trolls, I should say fans, I guess, probably already have that information.
Yeah, they probably would have already doxed him.
I'm sorry?
They probably would have already doxed him by now, I would think.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't, put his name out there, but I've, seen it floating around, and Rippy has kind of already confirmed that and everything.
Yeah. And the problem with law enforcement as well is that they're not going to take YouTube issues very seriously. Like, a lot of them are still even having trouble comprehending that you can even make money off YouTube or use YouTube as a job, Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the whole thing that amazes me with this Sightseeing Sally situation is the amazing hypocrisy. Beauregard Rippy versus Anthony Sullivan, for example. Now, Beauregard Rippy was really at first messing, like I said, with the carpetbagger, and I felt he was kind of like a regular troll. I have some information on him at one point, but like I said, I'm not really all about doxing people anymore, so I never let that information out or anything, because he was never really that big of a concern to me at the time anyways.
Yeah, and that's a noble goal to move forward, move forward from doxing, especially now that we're moving into the Ice Poseidon community as well, and where doxing is going to lead to a lot of problems.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that sometimes, and some of the things I know you and me have been watching about that.
Yeah.
But with Anthony Sullivan, I've definitely been putting a lot of information out there about what he's been doing, and he actually seems to be kind of a hero with these trolls now. Instead of, they don't see his comments and his letters and postcards that he's been sending as an issue. Somehow they're able to look past that, and I find it kind of disgusting.
So very recently, about a week ago, you uploaded a video titled "Let's Talk to the Swedes." And in that video, you point out that he's faked a lot of drama, he's lied about his real last name, and you pretty much expressed concern over him potentially putting himself and his family in danger. The style of the video didn't really seem like an aggressive, I'm gonna expose you for the monster you truly are type video, but it was definitely a very controversial video that got a lot of hate. What exactly prompted you to, make that video? Because you've had email exchanges with him, you even said he would call him at one point, so it is evident that you've spoken in private with him. So, something had to have sparked inside of you to make that all public.
Well, I feel I kind of have to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Basically what happened was Jacob the Carpetbagger and Chad the Swedes had a disagreement, and they went back and forth for a while. Then things calmed down for maybe a week, and I would say during the dispute, I tried to be neutral. I told Chad I thought him and Jacob both messed up, and in the end, I don't think it helped things that I told Chad. I didn't tell Chad what he wanted to hear, so maybe I was too neutral. Problem was, or I should say, became when Chad did live stream to an audience of trolls at that point, you know, because he kind of lost a lot of friends over this dispute. Claimed during that live stream that Child Protective Services came and visited his house, and during the live stream, he's pretty much pointing the finger at Jacob, blaming him for them showing up. But I think it was during that live stream or a subsequent live stream that day, he was blaming me and the Circle of Light for negative comments, I guess, left by disposable YouTube accounts. Because he didn't name specific accounts that were leaving these negative comments every day.
Mm-hmm.
On his other videos, and he claimed that we were flagging his videos.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, I of course I knew that was a lie because number one, there's no evidence of me or anyone else messing with him like that, and number two, I thought it was just a dispute between him and Jacob that should have been kept between them. There was really no reason to make it a wider problem to involve me or anyone else. You know, now there were issues before that made me say, oh, Chad is problematic, but the only thing that was done about that, you know, was to warn content creators that he could be an issue in the future.
I remember one time he was talking about how he got 10 strikes in 1 year, but that's actually very impossible because after 3 strikes your channel would just be gone. YouTube would completely terminate it.
Yeah, it's just a very bunch of weird claims from him regarding some of his videos. You know, it kind of surprised me, especially like his parody videos getting strikes, because most content creators at the time liked Chad. You know, they thought the parodies were hilarious. You know, I certainly did. You know, I watched that one he did about the bears and Jacob several times. You know, it's kind of simple, but just, you know, really funny.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple of his. I remember he made a video about me a while back, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, during another live stream, Chad started challenging Jacob to a fight.
Was that recently?
It was shortly before the interview that Jacob did, the radio interview. And during that interview, Chad called in about, I think, 6 times, trying to challenge Jacob to a fight yet again. And, you know, Chad was just really making a fool of himself.
Yeah, but, I heard something about that.
Yeah, he was just really kind of trying to make a mess of that interview, but it pissed me off that Chad was making an ongoing problem and taking the bullshit off the internet into the real world by harassing Jacob over the phone like that.
And the really sad thing about all this is that he's doing all this to someone he used to consider like a close friend of his.
Absolutely. I still think that's a questionable statement, though.
Well, I mean, that's what he said, but...
But, anyways, after that, I just decided to call Chad out on all of his lies, you know, because I wanted him to stop stirring up fake drama. You know, it'd been obvious to me for a while that his real name wasn't Chad Billhook. And the irony was, I think, Chad had claimed Jacob had doxed Chad during that interview by using his name, Chad Billhook, or I should say the fake name.
He doxed the fake name?
Yeah, Chad was like making a big deal out of it, and it was kind of seemed pissed off about it. You know, and I think one of the points of my video I was trying to make was Chad was actually taking a lot of risk, you know, especially trying to prove that Jacob was wrong. He went out trying to give drugs away and almost got attacked. He was trying to do some garbage cleanup and almost got attacked again. And then he started hanging out with Anthony Sullivan.
Did he ever take those videos down, or are they still up?
I'd have to look at his account. I don't keep up with that like that.
Yeah. Chances are they're probably taken down because he takes down pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's kind of odd like that. But, you know, I know some of... he had been putting up a lot of videos from other people. I guess you could say borrowed or maybe stolen.
So about the whole thing with him hanging out with Anthony Sullivan, like, what do you think that was a major risk to him? Because he didn't really involve his children, and that was his major argument, that it was just him visiting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was trying to prove that Anthony wasn't a psychopath or a creep. But it really shocked me when he let Anthony stay overnight in the same house as his kids. But, you know, I do give Chad credit that he stayed up that night that Anthony was there.
Yeah, well, at least he did that.
But after I put the video up, Chad did ask me to take it down several times. He never really gave me a real clear reason why.
In the email exchange, you said that he, like, blackmailed you to take it down?
Yeah, he started kind of, I think after the first email, that's when he started making, threats, basically, blackmail, or I should say the first one being kind of subtle, as far as, threats go. But then he started making it, I think, clear what he would do if I didn't take the video down.
What was it that he threatened to do?
Oh, well, we can go to the emails, and I don't think you have, or I should say I don't think you've seen all of them.
Yeah, you forwarded a couple to me, but I haven't seen the full context.
Okay, now I think the first one, where I call it subtle, he says there could be an army of trolls down here after a few posts on the right site. You guys can't stop one troll, let alone an army of 15-year-old trolls who would eat this shit up.
15-year-old trolls?
Yeah, I was under the impression it was 4chan was what he was talking about.
That sounds about right.
I think he mentioned it somewhere, I don't remember.
Yeah, either 4chan or Reddit. I remember seeing a few comments on your video whenever you made your comments public. Swedes was the only person that commented, and he said that you should either come clean or Jacob will feel the complete brunt of, you know, his trolls' attacks.
Yeah, that's kind of a typical troll response. You can't get to me, so you start threatening someone else, someone that's known. And, you know, with that, like, for instance, Mark Fun Jones, you can get to him because he's known. You know, people know his address, they know about his family and everything, because he's basically a public person at this point.
And it's like very hypocritical because a lot of them are calling you cowards, but at the same time, they're being cowards by attacking other people who aren't even, you know, involved in what's going on.
Absolutely, and we'll kind of get to that, I think, when I talk about the bounty, and I think I can point a few things out.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems with that video myself.
Yeah, and then I think in the next email response I received from him, he kind of offers up Anthony Sullivan, saying basically that Chad thinks he has some kind of influence with Anthony and that he can get Anthony to chill out and all that.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. It's like he's only talking to Anthony to be able to use him as like some sort of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it implies.
Like I said, I did eventually take the video down, not because he blackmailed me, but you know, once again, I felt it was having the opposite effect on him. It was just stirring up more drama and putting himself in more danger. But of course, Chad lied again. You know, and I think it was the next day he put up a reward video on his Bad Connection channel with an altered version of my voice.
And already there's a big problem with that video, and it's that it completely violates YouTube terms of service. because he's organizing his followers to go out and try and invade your privacy.
I'm not terribly concerned about my privacy, because I've been very honest. There's really nothing you're going to really find about me.
Well, I mean, he's still trying to find... Oh, yeah, but he's trying to get people to identify you, and that's something you're purposely keeping hidden.
Well, all I can say is, to the best of my knowledge, there's no recordings of my voice and or my photo on the internet. So you're really going to be out of luck on that.
Yeah, and if he's hiring private investigators, that's just going to be a massive waste of money.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can't speak to that, what they may or may not be able to find out.
And the major problem with that as well, the video as well, is that people are going out of their way to try and accuse other people of being you for that reward, you know? Like, they've brought up Mark a lot, and NTL Vlogs, and a lot of other creators.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a very lazy thing that they do, because, you know, when I was especially doxing people, I put a lot of work into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, processing information and everything. You know, this putting up this reward is kind of lazy. Okay, now you start first with Kentucky Ranger. Apparently he's the one who messed with the audio. Now, Kentucky Ranger was kind of, he was a pretty nasty troll back in the day.
Was he?
Yeah, and it's like after I started my account, he kind of tamed his comments, I guess you could say. So
yeah, I was about to say, he seems like a very, like, neutral guy. I mean, he does have some strong opinions every now and then, but hasn't really done anything extreme.
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of after I started my account, I think he kind of, like I said, tamed his comments.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing I think I can kind of point to here is a comment he left on one of Dave Hughes' videos. It says, "Now you know what it feels like to be berated for nothing more than making observations about YouTube personalities. It's funny how defensive people are of the carpetbagger, especially when a fan tries to defend him and gets berated and thrown from the circle of trust. I'll bet a Happy Meal Jacob won't let you interview him again, LOL. I'll admit, I miss watching Jacob's videos, but I cut ties and left him alone because of his reactions toward me." And I think the optimal word there is ties. Now, to the best of my knowledge, Kentucky Ranger was just a regular
just a viewer.
Fan, you know?
Yeah.
But apparently he thinks he had I think he believes he had a closer relationship with some of these creators. Like, now there was an incident, I'm told, where Kentucky Ranger sent some items to the carpetbagger to give to Adam the Woo. And that's kind of been a big no-no, that you don't try to get to Adam the Woo through the carpetbagger.
Oh, that's been like a very taboo thing? Or...
basically because, you know, Jacob isn't Adam's secretary.
Yeah, true.
And so I know Kentucky Ranger got very upset with Jacob about that. And I know Kentucky Ranger said something about Jacob's daughter that made Jacob uncomfortable.
Do you remember what it was? Or
I've never seen what that comment was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how overblown it might be. And that's kind of what I think it is as far as that comment goes. Yeah, Kentucky Ranger, I think he's just another one of these people that tried to get too close to the creators. Because I mean, I'm tell people, and I try to be honest about it. I'm not Jacob's friend, I'm not Adam's friend, and I'm not Jordan's friend. You know, I get called all these names, like I put these creators on some kind of pedestal or something, and that's just not true. You know, I think they can be wrong sometimes. I have my criticisms of these creators as well.
Yeah, like he even criticized Carpetbagger in your Swedes video, saying that he shouldn't have, gotten close to him, and that you even told him that.
Yeah, and there's only so much that I'm going to make public, though, about my criticisms of Adam and Jacob and all that. I try to, when I do leave comments, I try to be
constructive,
positive, or there's another constructive criticism. That's what they call
exactly.
it. Because of course I'm not a troll. So. But then, of course, as far as this witch hunt goes, we get to the apparently the main backer of the financial reward, and that is Anthony Sullivan. I think he's pledging at least 300.
Yeah, I figured he'd be primarily involved in that, considering he's a business owner, and he has like a lot of money to burn.
I don't know if any of that's true. Anthony says a lot of things, so I wouldn't really count on getting that money. Again, I don't know, because when I go out and try and find, especially when I was doxing people and everything, I didn't really concern myself with a lot of personal information. It was usually just name and address. After that, it was kind of whatever I came across. I don't look hard and heavy for criminal records or what their job is or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that's the responsible way to go about it. Just collecting it for the sake of law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's especially at this point what a lot of it is for me, as far as collecting information goes. I'd be more than happy to turn it over to any creator, but only when they promise that they're going to use it to prosecute someone, either take out, a warrant or whatever.
Yeah, like as long as they're not going public with it and then telling their audience to go and attack that person.
Yeah, exactly. So now I can certainly understand why Anthony Sullivan is involved. It was me in the Circle of Light that was able to confirm that he was the one that was sending postcards to the Carpetbagger from his home in Colorado. And then, of course, I know Anthony isn't too happy with all those comments he made that I pointed out in my video. But what I would have to say overall about this witch hunt video that they put out, that's my concern, because I'm still getting accusations that I'm this person and that person. I think Mark is probably still getting attacked regarding it. And I don't know what Kentucky Rangers' problem is with Mark these days. I know they had issues in the past. I don't know the truth. If Kentucky Ranger edit the soundtrack to sound like Mark or what, but I can tell you, it doesn't really sound like me, and it's, Kentucky Ranger's been honest about it being digitally altered.
To be honest, it sounds more like Big Time than anyone. A lot of people are even commenting that.
I have no idea, really. I think it makes me sound like a little kid, to be honest, but...
Really?
There you go. I just really want the witch hunt to you.
Yeah, and like the thing about even editing that audio clip, like he doesn't have a reference, there's nothing to, compare it to, so it's just complete guesswork.
Very true. I can't really tell you the thinking about this.